All right, so on page Yud, we did the first paragraph of Bais, and we started already. Actually, we did already these two paragraphs. The Rebbe's mevayed the dik of the Frierdiker Rebbe that tchilas hakavana of Brias v'Savas Oilamis is Nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It wasn't to say v'ni yedua abir b'dik halosha Nisav Davke. So yedua abir in Nisav God desired, because l'cha'ira, on the contrary, how could he possibly ascribe a desire to Hashem? That means he lacks something which he doesn't. So the emphasis is it's not less than, it's more than. This is even loftier. In the cause, the primary cause of creation, higher than the kavana, the godless shleimus kechesed, like he brings in eight. It is Chaim that there he says that the objective, the purpose of creation, that Hashem should reveal his koiches and pe'ulas. So on the surface that would be higher because he's not desiring something else. He wants to express himself. The be'emes is that Nisav is deeper still, and only Nisav is rooted in Atzmus. It's even higher. Also brought in Eitz Chaim that creation is a consequence because the nature of good is to do good. So he wants to bestow good upon his creations, but there too, it's not because of the creation, it's because he wants to bestow good. So the Chura would appear that they are higher because they speak of him. But them is not so. Kitabim and Anal, for these reasons, the nature of good is to do good, which is the second reason he brought, the higher one within these two. And he created in order to express his ability, his talents, as it were. So the emphasis is they are him bir al kushe. They are an explanation on a question. In other words, we're asking, why did God create? It's a reason that He created for these two reasons. This reason or the other reason, or both reasons, different levels. But they are already answering your question. In other words, like this, before we go further, as we started saying at the end of the Shir. The moment you say that the purpose of creation is because He wanted to reveal the shleimus of his koiches, or the purpose of creation is, it's the nature of good to do good. Implicit in your question, the starting point, is there is otherness. That's a given. There's a given. There is the notion of otherness. When you're saying to reveal, in that answer of reveal, you're already acknowledging, as if it's a given, that there is this notion of otherness wherein which He reveals Himself. In other words, these explanations that are given, explained in Samach Vav and in other places, are all true relative to different levels above. Starting from the Oyer Ein Sof, from the infinite light. But friends, why should there be infinite light? How could there be even Oyer Ein Sof? Oyer Ein Sof means Hashem's infinite light, which means light already, whatever. We don't mean physical light, obviously. We mean Hashem's presence. But the meaning of Oyer means Gilui. And Gilui means being revealed to something other. At that level, it's the potential of otherness. There's no otherness, it's only. But whatever level, it's already acknowledgement of otherness. And Mitzat Atzmos, the Eibishter Himself, there is no other. How do you speak of being revealed? Revealed where? To put it very crudely. Revealed to whom? At whatever level that is. There's no hardcore creation there. But there is the notion of it. And the notion means it precludes the exclusivity of Atzmos, that there is no notion of otherness, which there isn't. So the answer, well, I'm jumping ahead, so therefore the Alter Rebbe's answer that addresses Atzmos, the Eibishter Himself, he's not giving an explanation, an answer. He's saying Nisava. Nisava means He desired, He chose. He chose to have this notion of, and that embraces everything. He chose to give rise to the notion of otherness and to create a tachten, and he wants a dir b'tachtonim. It's a free choice, meaning to say, free of all values and considerations. Of a taibis kinkashinish, this is not a desire in the conventional sense. I'm hungry. It doesn't mean that kind of desire. Why do you want to eat? Because I'm hungry. That's not a taiva which there's no kasha. You're hungry and you want to eat. That's not the kind of desire it means here. Nisavi means here this pechira chavshis of atzmus. This free choice that originates exclusively within. Not there is the notion of otherness, we want to be nice to other. There is a notion of otherness and we want to express ourselves in it. It starts with the given. There's no given. The given is atzmus. So how does it all begin? Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's not an answer. It's to say, it's just a statement of fact. Which means to say, as we said last time, there is no reason for creation. There is no reason for creation. They're giving reasons. The nature of good, it wants to do good. It's natural to want to express oneself. That's a reason. But Nisav is not a reason. So as we said, does that mean there are no rooms for questions in Yiddishkeit? So how does that fit? So we just pull the rug out from under the what's the expression? The rug out from under the rug. From under what? Whatever. From under the whole pinning of creation. And we're saying again, the Gamarno, Nisave, it's Hashem's Pchira Sa'atzmos, and that's how creation begins. There is no reason, chas v'shalom, because if there's a reason, then God is limited already. There's already the acknowledgement of something other than Him, and there's a reason, there's a gain, there's no reason. He created reason. So is there room for questions? The answer is absolutely yes. I mean on God and His behavior. The answer is yes. How so? Simply, you revealed to us that your purpose in creation is because you wanted to do it. True, you didn't have to have that purpose, didn't have to have a creation, nothing. No Ein Sof, no, not anything. It's all mitzvah b'chira. And let's be clear also, friends. Because Nis'ave, because he wanted to do it, that's why. There's Ein Sof and the whole Ishtalshalis with all its incredible complexity and sophistication. That is only because at the end of the day he wanted the dir b'tachtonim, which we'll learn later in the Maimer. Who's that? You and me. And therefore, how deeply we affect the Eibishter. Atzmus mamash comes a little bit further on in the Maimer now. So again, is there room for questions? Answer is yes. Now that you revealed the kavanah dir b'tachtonim, how does this fit in? How does that fit in? A million questions on every mitzvah, every story, your behavior, for which we have many answers and sometimes not. That's just the pure nisave. But
even on Nitave, is the only, the way I understand it right now is that Nitave is only saying that we can relate to it in the sense that you can't ask any questions. But the Tava itself also is a problem.
So the root of the Taiva, it's inexplicable. It's B'chiras or Atzmus. It's exactly like.
No, I'm saying Nitave at the end of the day is the same thing as Shlemut Kochadav, but the same thing as Tov Lehetiv. No. Those reasons start with they're logical reasons. No, but a desire is not something that is by us. I mean, it's something that's already. How do I say? It's a creation in that. It's also the desire is also
right. But the difference between that and the other reasons, are rational, based on the assumption of otherness. In otherness, you want to express yourself. That there's the natural. Once there is otherness as a given, these reasons are rational. But the Alter Rebbe is taking us to Atzmos, where there is no rationale, and the words fail. Nisava. This is going to help you. Okay. So at this point, I think we said this last time also. Ask the question: why does God exist? Why did He create? Why does He exist? So this we appreciate. There's no answer to that because there's no question. There's no question. He always was, always is. There's no reason. If there's a reason why God exists, then forget God and worship the reason, because that's why He exists. You're worshiping the wrong address. Worship the reason. course, there is no reason. He is because he is. It's the best human language can say. Likewise, this taiva. Why have the taiva? There's no reason. B'chiras ha'atzmos, just as inexplicable and as essential as his very being is. But again, that doesn't preclude questions. On the contrary, now Chassidus is full of explanations for everything, virtually. The most complexing and difficult, questions in life. Chassidus has the deepest answers. Why? Because now we've explained that the kavan explained, revealed, not explained this in the sense of understanding God, who is fundamentally beyond understanding and who created this whole thing called understanding. But now that we know that the kavan is dir b'tachtonim, then we can understand how all these tzivuyim and all of history and everything fits into, and it's all part of this kavan. So yes, explanations. But it's really nas and nishma. All the explanations, the nishma, it's all rooted in this nas, in this nisava kadosh baruch hu dir b'tachtonim. Therefore, which is not explicable, but it's a fact. He exists and he decided to have a desire. Therefore, we have the answers to b'chlal everything that proceeds from there. Let's continue, finish the ois. So their explanations are explanations to an answer, to a question. And again, the question, why did he create, is all predicated on, if you're asking a question, you're already in the world of creation to begin with, if you're asking the question. So you're in the world of otherness. There is otherness. So so why did he create? He wanted to express himself in this otherness, as it were. That's all part of really creation itself. But Nisava addresses the place literally, but there are no questions at all. Atzmos, that is, again, why does God exist? There are no questions, there he is. And that's what Nisava addresses. It's Hashem's choice. On a taiva is not a question. Again, it doesn't mean the taiva that you and I have, but of course it can explain. We're physiological beings, we desire things. But it means a taiva that has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. I want. The human being doesn't have an exact parallel, because we are finite, and everything can be explained. Only Hashem can truly choose freely, because He is free of all consideration, all values. Since He created them, He's utterly beyond them, and His choice is be'emes free. And this desire, this free choice, as it were, stems from Atzmos, as Alter Rebbe addresses the very essence of God Himself. So what is the desire? The desire is self. The desire in the end is self, because this Av is rooted in Atzmos. It's the expression of Atzmos. And where's the Etzem revealed? In a home. So the Bechira of Atzmos, at the end of the day, it's a choice of self. And the choice of self goes deeper. I'm going to go into it now. The choice is Eden, because Eden are a part of Him. In the end, it's all Him. It's as it were to take a piece of Himself and put it in a guf lamat and a tachten, and here to make a dira for Him and you and I, which are also Him, soulmates. One. So as we said before at the beginning, Sif Aleph, that the union of a dir is not a place of expression. It's a place of being. It isn't a place of functional performance. It's a place of being. As we said before, the beingness is manifest in the non-function of the home. The function of the home is function. You need a toilet, you need a bathroom. But that you can have in a hotel, and then it's on the next door neighbor's house too. They let you in. It's being, it's your home. And the paradox is that it's in the details of the home that are not functional that makes the home. Because that's me or her. The balabasta, she is the home. Malchus. No, it goes here and not there. What's the difference? This faucet, that functioning. No, that's it. Adrab, in these inexplicable details of a home that expresses, because that's me. It's true, no explanation, no reason. And functional could be a different way. That's me. So we said that last time too. Therefore, before Mashiach comes, Chassidus, it's Megala, the Kavanah Mitzad Atzmus, pulling back the last curtain on God. Along with that, and making the Didis, this whole new world of Hidurim and nuance that didn't exist before in every area of mitzvahs, which is one of the contentions. For thousands of years, we're putting on film like this. No, bim bam. Now it goes the other way, and the Kesha, Maisa, and the tzitzis and everything. The answer is that now it's taka, the function of the mitzvah was taka before. And now it's taka hidurim. It's the nuance. And the deeper the nuance, the less it is. You still yotze without it. You still get tzchan ilam haba without it. The more it expresses the etzem hakavanah, the pnimius hakavanah. Let's go further. Yuvan yosef teichen advorim disiv zeh. Understand a very beautiful thing coming, friends. Understand deeper this inyan of what nisave and being rooted in the atzmus. Apiteres Baal Shem Tov, in light of a teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, who says as follows. The next thing till the end of the paragraph is a direct quote from the Baal Shem Tov. He didn't write this, but this is written by in Keser Shem Tov by the Talmidim. How the teaching goes like this: it's possible that because of a person's great, as we'll see, misplaced humility, this is his humility, and he's sincere about it, but it's wrong, and that could cause him to be distant from the service of Hashem. The language of the Baal Shem Tov, of course, is not the language of exactly contemporary, as it were, my Marim, so we'll just get the gist of it. Because of his sense of lowliness, he doesn't believe that a person can affect through his tefillah and Torah, excuse me, a divine flow to all the worlds. And angels get nourished, fed literally, sustained by his Torah and tefillah. He doesn't believe that because who am I? Means if he did believe it, how much would he serve God with joy and with awe? This is the pasuk he's quoting him. It's talking about the teichach that this all comes upon you because you didn't serve Hashem with joy and so on. When you had abundance. I'm pointing this out now because later the Rebbe is going to be medaik in the Reiv Koil. So bottom line, he's saying how, if he did realize this, how joyous and how much in awe he would be of his avodah, that it affects a flow of a likus in all the worlds and so on. V'gam lo ses lev, he should also pay attention. As the pasuk says, im tishkevun bein tzvatayim. The simple meaning there, the pasuk is in Tehillim. It's talking about the nations of the world, if they will dwell between the borders, whatever the context is. Baal Shem Tov's taich is tzvatayim, lips. Im tishkevun bein tzvatayim, that Hashem dwells, as it were, and is looking at the words coming from a Jew. He's lying there, as it were, expectantly. Listen to these words. Hashem, Shem means guards, and Shoiked means, Shkida means uninterruptedly. Waiting for the person's lips and mouth, l'noishka, to kiss him, when he says words of Torah Tefillah. Who would be the person that he wouldn't be seized by trembling and perspiration, literally, that the awesome king would be diukim also in these words. It washes, and shoyked is there, it doesn't budge, watching a person's mouth. What are the words that will come out from him? A person should take to his heart, to say, all his movements and his pursuits and his words Oisei Roshim L'mayla makes an effect above. That's how it should be. When a person thinks, Man sofen lifnim. The word sofen has many meanings. I'm not sure what it means here. I think it means what value? Lifnim. Or upon him. I'm not sure myself exactly what these words mean. Or l'saken l'mayla l'mato, to fix above and below. So he considers himself worthless. And therefore, as a result, he gives up on himself, and he goes with Shudas Liba, means with the unbridled desires of his heart, indulges all of his desires, because what difference do I make? What difference do I make? And that's terrible. This is similar to what sages say. The Gemara says like this: the Gemara says that the humility of Rabbi Zechariah caused the Churban of the Bais HaMikdash. There's the story of Kamsa. About Kamsa, you all know the story. A fellow had two friends. He made a Suda, and one of his friends was Kamsa, and his enemy was Bar Kamsa. He sent his servant to invite his friend. The servant brings the wrong one. He says, "What are you doing here? Leave." Bar Kamsa says, "Don't embarrass me. I'll pay for what I eat." "No." "I'll pay for half the meal." "No." "I'll pay for the whole meal." "No." And he cast him out. And the Bakamta got very upset. You know the story. And he says, the sages were there. They didn't protest. It means that they agreed. So he went to Caesar and he said, the Jews are rebelling against you. How do you know? He says, you'll see. You send a korban and they won't bring it. So the Caesar sent a very choice cow. And he made a blemish on the lip or in the eye. The din is that such a korban a goy could bring up, al pi din. A guy is allowed to bring a korban outside the Bais HaMikdash. Only he can. But to bring it in the Bais HaMikdash, such a blemish is possible. So they looked at the animal and they brought it. Can't bring it. So the Chachamim said, we have to bring it because this could, which it did, could anger the totalitarian authority, Rome, and catastrophe. So Rabbi Zechariah said you can't bring it, because if you bring it, they'll say you're allowed to bring a korban of an animal that has a blemish. It was either in the eye or the ear. It's two opinions. So they said, okay, so we're going to kill him. You shouldn't go back to Rome and report that we didn't bring the animal. Says Rabbi Zechariah, you can't do that, because people will say if a person brings to the Bais HaMikdash, he wants to bring a korban that has a blemish, is put to death. So they agreed. And the end was, Rome was angered and Churban Bais HaMikdash followed. Again, Mefarshim answered that it wasn't because of the blemished animal. It's because of the sinas chinam expressed in the story of Kamsa Bar Kamsa. At any rate, the Rebbe brings over here, the Shem Tov is saying, humility in the wrong place. Rabbi Zechariah's humility, in the sense of his bittul to the, we've got to follow the rule. The Gemara is critical of him. Rabbi Yochanan, I think, said. Because of him, just on there's validity to that, the Churban came. This is Ad Kan teaching at the Baal Shem Tov. Now, let's see the Rebbe's analysis of this teaching. First of all, in him, you see that it's a Baal Shem Tov from the conclusion of the Baal Shem Tov's teaching. Humility in the wrong place. It's like the humility of Rabbi Zechariah. He didn't have to bring that. He made his point about Shem Tov already, right? That the point is, if humility in the wrong place, you don't serve Hashem properly. You give up on yourself. What difference does it make anyway? And a person needs to feel pleasure. So he's not getting it in Yiddishkeit because what difference do I make? Well, find his pleasure elsewhere. It's a very strong point. Stop right there. What does he have to bring? And this is like the misplaced humility of Rabbi Zechariah. Answer. Questions clear? Yeah, move on. The Rebbe is saying that the Baal Shem Tov, by concluding with Rabbi Zechariah, is telling us how high the stakes are. What the gain here is. That we're now conduct as it should be. Contrary to misplaced humility. You're not just personally serving God, and that's a wonderful thing, and you're doing it joyously and with awe, that and amazement that little me affects Hashem and the angels and the holy shtalshalos. But more than that, what you are doing is you are doing the opposite of the destruction. You are building you're building the Bais Hamikdash. Your avodah is integral, in other words, to the whole kavanah bris ha'olam, which is the dira the Bais Hamikdash. Clear? That's what the Baal Shem Tov brings at the end to tell us how deep this is negeya. As the Rebbe just explained in the previous us, that the desire for a dira, which is Bais Hamikdash, is rooted in atzmos. That's how deeply you affect the Eibishter, not only the malachim and the olamis, as they will go and explain later, but it's the dira which is rooted in atzmos. And that's what the Sif Yud begins with. That the whole kavanah of a person's avodah, what he's doing, and his avodah is he's contributing to making this world the dira lo yizbarach, and therefore connecting and being mamshich atzmos. And furthermore, so the first point he's saying is, I kind of melded the two. First point is that the avodah brings about, quite simply, the building of the Bais Hamikdash, the dira down here. Furthermore, even though he starts off saying the Baal Shem Tov, what's the effect of a Jew's avodah? Avodah is adam b'teiro tefillah pe'eles. So first he talks about the worlds and malachim. The truth is, we call makim, as we just were saying now, seeing the words of the Baal Shem Tov further, he goes beyond olamas and malachim. He talks about a melech gadol v'neira, a great and awesome king, shomer v'shoyked al tzvasayim shel ha'adam, who is watching and is literally fastened, attached. Shoyked means attached. Watching a person's mouth, and medaber divrei Torah, tefillah, speaks Torah and tefillah. So who is it? Melech gadol v'neira daik. This great and awesome king. Moving. It's understood that the Baal Shem Tov is saying that not only through our avodah we mamshich and the ilamas and the malachim, but rather the awesome king himself. Shakavani la'atzmus hamelech k'vishulam ma'ila mimelech halam. We're talking about the Eibush says he's beyond king over the people. That's the lower level of malchus. But as we learned in the previous Maimorim, bisnasus atzmis, the essential being of the king. We speak here how malchus is rooted in the very essence of Hashem. Right, the paradox of malchus. On the one hand, malchus is all about governance. It's all about otherness. Ein melech b'layom. It's the people who make the king. So on the one hand, therefore, malchus is the most external component of a person. Before he was king, he was a fully functioning person, a wise and wonderful man. Now he becomes king. What changed? And then now he's dealing with others. That's bechitzonius. But bepnimius, the truth is, that's the paradox of malchus, that malchus unlocks an essential state of being far deeper than the way he operated till now, with his mind and heart and so on. Malchus is rooted in the essential I am. Not I govern, I rule over you. The true governance is rooted in I am. It's explained at length in Chassidus. This is huge subject which we've visited many times. So he's saying the melech gadol v'neira, we mean not the Eibush to simply, we mean malchus, in other words, as it's invested in Bria, Hashem as governor. But we mean the Eibush is a very essential being. That's what a Jew affects through his avodah. Clear? Yes? Again, what? Huh?
You're saying Malchus has both these inyanim.
It's a very big paradox. On the one hand, it's a melech b'layam. But Chassidus explains that what happens to the king, when he agrees to become king, he becomes completely transformed. He resists it to begin with, Because, hey, devote a life now devoted to the people, that's the most tremendous sacrifice. It means getting involved in a world outside of him and all the problems of the people governing the state, etc. The Pella is that when he becomes king, he becomes completely transformed from within. He experiences himself in such a way he never felt himself before.
So with the Rebbe.
Huh?
With the Rebbe you saw it also.
With all the Rebbeim like this. Yeah. What?
But the Nimshal. Saying by Hashem's, how do you apply this by Hashem's? By the Melech, I understand it.
Well, even by the Melech is not so posh. Why does it work that way? It works that way. Okay, so taking that deeper, the surrender, if he had to surrender himself, to building bricks, it's not going to happen. It's a surrender to the people. By surrendering to the people, this unlocks an essential level of him where he is one with the people. Because the Rebbe says he is. The people are all one. But till now, he was an individual, which means he was not in touch in this conscious way with his own etzem and neshama, which is what the Nasei HaKoil, that is one with the people. So being devoted to them, it's not just Mesiras Nefesh to some cause. It's being devoted to the people that unlocks his essential being. Likewise by the Eibishter. Malchus, lower level, is governance, creates olam, it's like a whole creation. But a Yid, it's a Yid dafke lamata. It's the Jew. There's a chelik lekami mal mamish. The Jew down here, and the Eibishter's devotion, as it were, kevayachol, to the Jew down here, that unlocks the chelik lekami mal mamish of the neshama, which is rooted in the atzmos, revealing therefore the very essence of Hashem Himself. In simple language, the essence of Hashem is revealed in the yichida, in the essence of every neshama down here, not in the higher olamas, just like the Melech. Sorry? So first of all, yes, number one, Havaya doesn't change. But even Ani Havaya, which goes on Atzmos, there's no change here. There's no change. Revealed. It's revealed in the Neshama Lamata. There's no change. But the truth is, Kevayochel, there is a kind of a change. That's what he's going to explain further in the Maimer. And Kevayochel in Atzmos. But that's all because of the choice of Atzmos, but really deeper than that, it's because the Neshamas are rooted there. And because the Neshamas are rooted there, that's not really a change. It's all along, eternally, Eden and Neshamas are one. Very deep point, friends, to be seen in Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow.
Next slide, huh? What's the next?
Huh? Okay. My voice is running out of juice. Where are we? Malchus is rooted in the very essence of all the goes higher than the Tesfiris, which he calls in generally Zah. It's the person. That nases amshachos atzmos dafke. And why is that? Because he goes on to explain the neshama itself is rooted in atzmos. We continue with Hashem tomorrow.
We have these right away, the first one.